Likewise, make things easier for people. Don't make things difficult for people. If someone, is losing his wudu, don't tell him that every time you lose your wudu, you have to go make new wudu, you have to do this, you have to do that. You will start making things very difficult for people. There is, ma'dur. If someone is qualified to be considered a ma'dur, an excused person, then there is a concession for that. There's a different option to that. There's a different approach to that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed a lot of flexibility in our religion, in our deen, but we make it difficult. So the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us, make things easier for people and do not make them difficult. مَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made yusr in this deen. Number 100, and this hadith is from Bukhari and Muslim. رواه الشيخان متفق عليه. Number 156. لا تسبوا الديك فإنه يوقظ للصلاة. رواه أبو داود. The Prophet ﷺ said, do not curse or swear the rooster. Deek is rooster. Murgha.
What?
Let's. فَإِنَّهُ يُوقِظُ لِلصَّلَاةِ. Because it wakes you up for salah.
I didn't know what's going on.
Okay.
They wake you up early though.
I have roosters in my area that were all day long.
Yeah.
All day long they were going off. So they finally got rid of them. I don't know.
I read in one place, I was reading yesterday, some Sahaba used to keep a rooster when they would go out in safar, in travel, because a rooster has this instinct from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It knows the timings of prayers. So for the time of prayer, it starts doing the kukuruku. Huh?
You're pretty loud too.
Yeah. So, and it's adhan. And in another hadith, the Prophet says, فَإِنَّهُ يُؤَذِّنُ لِلصَّلَاةِ. It gives adhan for the prayer, And it's an adhan of their language. But it wakes you up for the prayer. And it's very loud. We have a rooster in our house.
Yeah, they're pretty loud.
Yeah. We have one rooster, 4 hens.
He got a lot of work to do with it.
How many hens per rooster?
One rooster, too many hens. Lot of work to do. Lucky rooster.
He's gonna get distracted.
157.
That's why they go.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. لا تتخذوا الضيعة فترغبوا في الدنيا. The Prophet ﷺ said, do not make lots of real estate property, because then you will have all your desires in this world. You will have all your time invested in this world. When you have a lot of real estate, then all you do is look after the real estate. Sometimes there's need for plumbing in this property, then there's that property, and then there's that property. So all your time is taken in that. Then you will have too much invested in this world.
Is the Umar radiallahu anhu the one who came and the salah was Salat al-Jama'ah of Asr was over? Because he was distracted by his lay'ah when he said my garden is for the sake of Allah.
Yeah.
Can you read the Arabic again?
لا تتخذوا الضيعة
So
فترغبوا في الدنيا.
that's 157?
Yeah, 57. رواه الترمذي.
So
Number 158. خالف المشركين أوفر اللحى وحف الشوارع. Oppose the mushrikeen, idolaters, grow and lengthen your beards and shorten your mustache. So the Prophet ﷺ said, the mushrikeen in those times, they used to shave the beard or shorten the beard and grow the mustache. Make the mustache become longer and bigger and shorten the beard. The Prophet ﷺ said, oppose them. This applies only here. That in this practice, you should let your beards grow longer and let the mustache go shorter. Number 159. أطعم الجائع وعود المريض وفك العاني. رواه البخاري. Feed the hungry and visit the sick people, sick visit, and help those who have been imprisoned, who have been captured unjustly, to become free. If you know that there's a person who's innocent and he's been captured somewhere, detained somewhere, imprisoned somewhere, and you can somehow help them to come out by hiring a lawyer or by paying money or things like that. In those days, what you do in order to free someone, you pay money. That's what people used to do. So the Prophet ﷺ encouraged that, the fukkul ani, that pay some money if you can to free that person so he can come out and start taking care of your family.
For mukhalafat al-mushrikeen is only in growing the beer.
Yeah, that in this regard is right here in about them. It's not about everything. Like if they eat with the right hand, it doesn't mean you start eating with the left hand.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Because it came to my mind the day of Ashura, when Rasulullah he commanded the Muslims to fast.
Yeah.
He said that Allah give me enough life. So,
That's about the Yahud.
the Yahud, yeah, Ahlul Kitab.
Yeah, Ahlul Kitab.
Yeah.
And he said similar things about them as well, but only in the religious things you oppose them. You do the opposite.
That's right.
Not in all things. And another thing, if they do something good, that doesn't mean you do the opposite or do something
That's
bad.
right. Yes, yeah.
So what was the logic behind the beard and the mustache? I mean, was it,
For the mushrikeen,
yeah, was it something bad because they were growing?
I don't know why they
Just
were
to
doing it.
identify them, maybe?
Huh?
Was the reason was to identify them that these are Muslim, these are Muslim?
Not identity, basically to let them know that we're not going to do what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Number 160. لا يقضين حكم بين اثنين وهو غضبان. رواه البخاري ومسلم. No one should become a judge and decide about something between two people when he's angry. You cannot, because when you are angry, your judgment is compromised. So when you're angry, don't become a judge at that time and don't make a decision at that time. When you're making a decision between two people, and look, the Prophet ﷺ has presented this to us in a way so it applies to all of us, not only to the judges of the courts. The judge of the court has to be relaxed, at the time of his job. He cannot be angry, he cannot be upset, he cannot have any worries of his home on his mind, anything, because he needs all relaxation that he can get when he's deciding, when he's writing the decrees. Likewise, normal people like us, we're not judges. But if two people come to you and say, this brother did this to me and I did this to him, what should we do? At that time as well, if you're angry, tell them, I'm sorry, I cannot focus right now, I'm angry, I'm upset, and I have this on my mind, I will not be able to do justice, so come back at a later time. لا يقضين حكم بين اثنين وهو غضبان. When you are angry, you should not let yourself issue a decree, decide, even if it's a little matter. Doesn't matter if it's a big thing or small thing. If you are angry, if you are in the state of anger, do not be a judge. Number 161. إياك والتنعم فإن عباد الله ليسوا بالمتنعمين. رواه أحمد. Stay away from luxury pleasures, because the true servants of Allah are not those who indulge in luxuries, like having a lavish house and a lavish car and a lavish life. Those things do not suit the true servants of Allah. Look at the Prophet ﷺ. In his entire life, he never had any luxuries. Even his bed, it used to be the most simple bed. It was made out of the hashfu leaf. It was made out of the leaves of the palm trees. And it used to leave marks on the back of the Prophet ﷺ, because that's how the bedding was. And even Umar radiallahu anh said, Ya Rasulullah, you are sleeping like this, you are living like this, and look at the kings of Persia and Rome, what kind of life they're living. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Umar, even you are in doubt, even you think that this is life, this is the life. Then the Prophet ﷺ said to him that, I have chosen the life of akhirah over the life of this world. I don't ask Allah to give me any pleasures and any kinds of luxuries in this world. I ask Allah to give all of that to me in akhirah. Number 162. لا تسبوا الأموات فإنهم قد أفضوا إلى ما قدموا. Do not say bad things about the dead people. Amwat is a plural of mayyit, and it is a reference to deceased. Those people who have already died. Do not say bad things about them, or do not curse them, or may Allah curse that person, may Allah does this to that person. And this is about the believers, not about the non-believers. Those who died with iman, don't say bad things about them. فَإِنَّهُمْ قَدْ أَفْضَوْا إِلَى مَا قَدَّمُوا. Or in another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, فَإِنَّهُمْ قَدْ أَفْضَوْا إِلَى مَا مَاتُوا. They have already found what they sent forward. Like whatever amal we're doing is going forward. And when we die, we will see those amal. So the Prophet ﷺ said, whatever they did in their life, they've already found it. You should not, you make a share and start cursing them, swearing them, saying bad things about them.
The hadith also said, لا تسبوا الأموات, because you're not gonna cause them any harm.
Yeah.
Rather that you might hurt the living ones.
The living ones, yes.
Because he might curse somebody, and maybe his nephew, his
Yeah,
son
hurt.
is there,
Gets hurt, yeah.
And I believe that even that is those wicked Muslims that who pass by, that we should not even mention them with by
Right,
name.
right.
Because we don't know how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala
Dealt with him.
dealt with them at the end.
Right,
You know?
right,
That is, I heard one statement that Al-Hajjaj said before he died. Well, I don't remember it exactly, but more or less at the beginning he said, those people, they said, you're not going to forgive me. That's what
I
he said.
heard.
He said, those people, everybody said, you are not going to forgive me. And from my knowledge of you, you are the most forgiving. I said the statement of a person he was in the deathbed.
Yeah.
For a person to Allah enable him to make a statement like this in the deathbed, Allahu A'lam, that is privilege for him.
Yeah.
So,
There's a hadith that says,
And who are we to tell Allah, oh Allah, don't forgive this person and forgive that person? It's Allah's decision. If Allah wants to forgive someone, who are we to say to Allah, oh Allah, you did not do right?
So like when some people curse some people, go to hell, or you're going to burn in hell, that doesn't mean anything, man.
You're not supposed to do that.
there's a hadith called Kur Mahasin Amwat.
Yes, that's the opposite of that. That's the hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ, Udkuru mahasina mawtakum. Mention the good things of dead people, not the bad things.
SubhanAllah, that's one shaykh, what the brother he mentioned now about cursing people, especially from the father or the mother. He mentioned a few incidents that's happened, and he said if a person, he mentioned the name of a person who traveled with him when he goes, who became totally paralyzed. He said he came to his father, and his uncle was there. He kneeled down just to grab the hand of his father and to kiss it. And his pack of cigarettes fell down. No, the lighter fell down from his pocket. So his father looked at him, he said, are you smoking? He said, no. So he made he cursed him. If you smoke it, may Allah such and such. He said that this guy, he had a car accident and he got paralyzed. He said, don't curse your
Yeah.
children, because you don't know when the doors of the heavens are open.
That's another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ as well. لا تدعوا على أولادكم ولا على خدمكم. 165. تعاهد القرآن فوالذي نفسي بيده لهو أشد تفصيا من الإبل في عقولها. رواه البخاري ومسلم. Guard the Quran. I swear by the one in whose hand is my life. The Quran is stronger or faster to run away from that camel which is tied in its rope. Tafassiya.
Because the other narration is tafallutan.
Yeah, tafallut is another narration. This is also Bukhari and Muslim, and that could be another Ravi who could be saying that. But that's also Bukhari.
So what does this mean? What does this hadith mean?
This hadith means whatever Quran you know, keep reading it, keep reviewing it. Because once you stop reviewing the Quran, it goes away faster than it came in. It takes a long time to memorize an ayah and memorize a surah, but once you stop reviewing the surah and stop reciting the surah, it may run away, it may be lost faster than if you let the camel go free, it will run away. لهو أشد تفلتا من الإبل في عقولها أو تفصيا. Number 164. اعتدلوا في السجود ولا يبسط أحدكم ذراعيه انبساط الكلب. Do i'tidal. Do moderation in your sujood. Perform your sujood with i'tidal, with moderation, and with proper posture. And one of you should not allow his arms to be spread like the dog, when the dog spread its arms when it sits. So, this is how we should do sujood. Can everybody see me? Like this, okay? And when the dog sits like this, right?
Yep.
So you should not do sujood like this. That's wrong. You should do like this. Got it? When dog sits, it puts his arms
You
like
gotta
that.
bend the elbows though, right? You can't.
Yeah, you bend it.
You said
Huh?
just don't put them flat on the floor. You still gotta bend them, right?
You don't have to bend them, but you can see, if you can go like this, you bend it, not like that.
Yeah, don't flat.
Yeah, like that, Not like that, so hurt other people.
Yeah, I know.
Number 165. Muru awladakum bis-salah wa hum abna'u sab'i sinin. Teach your children or order your children to pray when they are 7 years old. And beat them for prayer, for not praying when they are 10 years old. And when they are 10 years old, separate their beds. If you have 2 children, 3 children or more, don't let them sleep on the same bed anymore when they are 10 years old. So this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ gives us 2 important stages of the lives of our children. When they're 7 years old, teach them how to pray. And they have 3 years. In 3 years, they keep training them. Slowly, let them, pray Fajr and Zohar and Asr and Maghrib, Isha. 3 years is enough time to become a regular musalli, a regular, prayer performer. And when they're 10 years old, and if they're still lacking on it, then you should start punishing them slowly as well, gently, so they learn the importance of salah. And at 10 years of age, you should separate their beds as well.
Is there a reason for that?
Reason for what? Because if you don't emphasize on that, even at 10 years old, then soon they will become baligh, they will become adult, and at that time you will have no control over them. So this is the last stage at which you can enforce the importance of prayer. Number 166. لا
No, I
تجلسوا.
was talking about the separation of bed. Not the,
Oh, the separation of bed.
Right.
The reason is because this is the age of murahiq. This is the age when you start reaching close to the age of puberty.
Oh, okay.
So if you are allowing your children to sleep together in the same bed, in the same comforter, then shaitan, can start teaching them bad things.
Oh, okay.
So separate their beds.
Makes sense.
Could you define how to beat him?
Huh?
How to beat him?
Like
Some
with
people beat that guy.
miswak or something like that. Not with the stick.
Now, people are now there's other ways to punish them.
Huh?
You asking about the Sharia way to be?
Yes.
Some other ways now to punish them besides.
Yeah, you can use other ways like stop their playtime or ground them or things like that. Yeah, or take away their in my household, my wife would say, okay, you got no more no more time on your Nintendo or no more time on this, and that's enough punishment for them.
One time I did this with my son. Punishment just like that. Put him in his room by himself. He kept saying, "Please beat me up."
That's what my son did something. One day, I said, yeah, I said, you're not gonna get that anymore. Or maybe, I was like, I'm not gonna give you money anymore to buy your Legos and things. So please beat me, but don't.
That's funny.
166. لا تجلسوا على القبور ولا تصلوا إليها. رواه Muslim. Do not sit over graves and do not pray towards the graves. اتقي دعوة المظلوم. Save yourself from the prayer of an oppressed person, a wronged person, someone who has been wronged, someone who has been oppressed. Fear from his prayer, and save yourself from his prayer against you. فَإِنَّهُ لَيْسَ بَيْنَهَا وَبَيْنَ اللَّهِ حِجَابٌ. Because in his prayer and between his prayer and Allah there is no hijab, there is no veil, there is no curtain. So his prayer reaches Allah directly. Number 168. اتقوا الله في هذه البهائم المعجمة. Fear Allah regarding the rights of these animals that cannot speak. Al-mu'jam means speechless. فَارْكُبُوهَا صَالِحًا وَاتْرُكُوهَا صَالِحًا. So ride them when they are healthy and when they are capable, and leave them when they're still capable. Don't continue riding them until they're exhausted and then let them eat something. No. So ride them when they are in good health and strong and good condition, and let them go when they are still in good health. So they can preserve that energy, and they can have some free time, and they can eat more. لا يخلون رجل 169. لا يخلون رجل بامرأة ولا تسافرن امرأة إلا ومعها محرم. رواه البخاري ومسلم. No man should be alone with another woman, meaning a stranger woman, not a relative. If a woman is your sister or your daughter or your wife or your mother, that's fine. You can be alone with them. But with a stranger woman, with a cousin, or with your colleague or co-worker or a stranger woman, do not be alone with them. And nowadays, being alone is not only being in the room with someone. You can be alone in a car with someone. You can be alone, in a corner with someone. You can be alone. There's so many different ways of being alone now.
What about elevator shit?
Huh?
What about the elevator?
Young waiter?
Elevator.
Oh, elevator. Yeah, that's also being alone.
What are you gonna do?
You just run out.
Hold yourself.
Just,
Naturally.
just hold yourself against the
Yeah.
wall like that.
Yeah, no, actually, you're not alone in the elevator. There's a camera over there.
The camera.
But anyway,
Not all of them.
Huh?
Not every elevator.
So now make sure the elevator that you take has a camera.
but anyway, that is something they call al-urf, because the time in the elevator is not going to be like for half an hour.
What if you push the stop button up here?
Or you get off and you see a woman come in and you're alone, you get off, let her go.
No, then you might be there forever.
I think, for this actually hadith, even I think right now with the means of communication, for example, the messenger,
Yeah.
chatting and stuff like that, because
That's
right
also-
now
that's
we
also
are
khalwa.
alone. No
Yeah.
one actually sees what's going on. You can say things
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
You shouldn't.
That's probably
That's
actually
part of it.
Part of it
Yeah.
as well. It's not being physically, but
Virtually.
Virtually.
Yeah.
So.
And no woman should travel except when there is a mahram, a close relative with her. So, and that we're talking about the al-masafat al-shar'iyya, when traveling 48 miles or more alone. So a woman should not travel by herself 48 miles or more except when she is with her husband or with her son or with her brother or father or something like that.
This
170, huh?
That's the one they're pushing in Saudi Arabia. That's why they're not letting women drive.
They always. No.
They're
That's
saying
not the
she-
reason. No. That's not the reason. No.
You can't drive alone.
Okay. 170. لا تتخذوا ظهور دوابكم منابر. Do not make the backs of your animals as your pulpits. Mimbar. What do we do on mimbar?
Sit.
No.
And speech.
Khutbah. We give speeches on the mimbar. It's not basically sit. We stand on the mimbar and we start giving speeches. So if you want to give a speech, come off the back of the animal and then give the speech. Don't sit on your animal and start giving speech. The Prophet ﷺ never gave a speech, a long speech on on the back of an animal. He did say hadith, one or two hadith and things like even that when the animal was moving or for a minute or two, but never give speeches like that. But sometimes people do that. They want to give a long speech and they think being on the back of the camel or donkey or horse will be the best way to give a speech because you'll be higher.
Also, that is, you should not hold conversation with another person while you are on the animal. So if you want to converse with somebody, get down because
you're causing
because the purpose
unnecessary
of the animal is to
transportation.
Transportation.
Yeah. Number 171. لا تتخذوا شيئا فيه الروح غرضا. Do not take something that has life in it, that has soul, life in it, as your target. When you're doing target practicing, let's say we're sitting over here and we have the guns in our hands or the arrows, or we're just throwing stones and we're seeing who can reach the target. So whatever you have at the target, it should not be something that has life in it, like a bird or a dog or a cat or something. It could be a lifeless thing, but you cannot make a living thing as your target practice. 172. لا تجلس بين رجلين إلا بإذنهما. Do not come and sit between two people except with their permission. Sometimes we do that. Two people are sitting and then we come and we move this person this way and that person that way and we sit in between. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying, don't do that except with their permission. If they allow you, both of them, if they allow you, you can sit over here, then go ahead.
What is up the prayer line? Sometimes there's a little gap, you squeeze it.
You ask them, again, you ask them. 173. لا تظهر الشماتة لأخيك فيرحمه الله ويبتليك. Very beautiful hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, do not show ill feelings do not show happiness over the troubles of your brother, because Allah can show mercy to him and put you in the same troubles. Sometimes, let's say, someone is suffering because he doesn't have a job or he's facing other kind of hardships, and you start becoming happy. See, that guy is in trouble. Oh, that guy is this and that. You're becoming happy for the troubles of your brother. Rasulullah ﷺ said, do not do that, because sometimes Allah may take him out of his troubles and put you in the same troubles. فَيَرْحَمْهُ اللَّهُ وَيَبْتَلِيكَ.
That's called gloating. To gloat.
Gloat?
Right.
What's that?
That's a shamata. You need to gloat.
Okay.
Actually, Sheikh Waleed, Sheikh Waleed is not here.
174. بادروا بالصدقة فإن البلاء لا يتخطاها. Hurry in giving sadaqah, in giving charity, because the bala or the trouble or the hardship or the musibah does not cross the sadaqah. When you put sadaqah, that becomes a barrier, that becomes a wall. And whatever hardship, whatever trouble was coming your way, it will not come beyond that. It will stop over there and it will not reach you. فإن البلاء لا يتخطاها. يعني لا يتخطى الصدقة. Number 175.
Can you give sadaqah to non-Muslim?
Voluntary, yes. You can give, sadaqah nafila. اتقوا النار ولو بشق تمرة. Save yourself from hellfire, even if it is by giving a piece, a portion of date in the path of Allah. فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ فَبِكَلِمَةِ الطَّيِّبَةِ. If someone cannot even give a portion, a piece of date in the path of Allah by sadaqah, then he should say the good word, and that's also sadaqah. جَاهِدُ الْمُشْرِكِينَ بِأَمْوَالِكُمْ وَأَنفُسِكُمْ وَأَلْسِنَتِكُمْ. Fight with the idolaters with your wealth and with yourself and with your tongues. So your words, your power, your strength, and your wealth all should be used in fighting against the mushrikeen. Number 177. اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. Know the value or consider the value of 5 things before 5 things. شبابك قبل هرمك. Your youth before your old age. وصحتك قبل سقمك. And your health before your sickness. وغناك قبل فقرك. and your wealth or your good financial condition before your poverty. وَفَرَاغَكَ قَبْلَ شُغْلِكَ, and your free time before your occupation, before you get all busy. وَحَيَاتَكَ قَبْلَ مَوْتِكَ, and your life before your death. These are the 5 things. The 5 things. Know the value of 5 before 5. Laysa an-naqisa. Now we're going to learn those ahadith in which the Prophet ﷺ used the word laysa. The word laysa means no or not. So laysa shadidu bis-sur'a. That person who defeats another person in a ring, in a wrestling, is not really a strong man. Who is really strong? إِنَّمَا الشَّدِيدُ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. The real strong man is the one who controls himself at the time of anger. So if you don't have control over yourself in anger, you're not strong, even if you are, what are those wrestlers? What are the names of some wrestlers?
Macho Camacho man.
Nacho Camacho. What was that big guy?
Oh, Andre the Giant?
No.
Hulk Hogan?
No.
Hogan?
John Cena.
Rock?
There was a heavyweight champion. I don't remember his name.
No, that was
Huh?
boxing.
Samir Sulaiman.
The tallest
And then there was Muhammad Ali, the lightweight champion.
No,
And he
heavyweight.
was
With the Harry right now.
Hmm.
And,
Who's right now?
well, I mean, it's not in boxing, but it's in I don't know, one of these actually.
So in Arab, in their culture, they used to have wrestling like this. But now it's all commercialized. At that time they had real wrestling, Now it's just a drama. But at that time they had real wrestling, and there were, some really well-known wrestlers. And the Prophet ﷺ, by the way, did it too. The Prophet ﷺ did wrestling too?
Yeah, he beat up one of the
Yeah,
heroes
one of the strongest ones.
Rakana.
He been up 3 times.
Yeah. Huh?
Rakana.
Rokana, yeah. Ibn Rokana, I think his name is.
You know what I noticed?
Was it say that Rasulullah he had them in the strength of 30 men?
40.
40 men.
I mean, a lot of these hadiths that we've been reading, it's telling you about anger, control yourself.
Yeah.
But if you
Why?
But if you look at, I'm not going to talk about any race, but the countries, especially Muslims, there's a lot of rage and anger.
Because we don't know these
You
ahadith.
go there, everybody's beating somebody
That's the
up,
problem.
or yelling at
Because
somebody.
we don't even know the ahadith.
Right.
We don't even spread the ahadith. We don't even educate ourselves. That's the problem.
We don't know how to pray.
That was
We don't know how to pray.
kickboxing. That was
Huh?
trying to tell you. That was trying to tell you. Kickboxing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So Brother Harry is
Brother Harry?
Yeah.
All right.
Differentiate between the two ghadab for the sake of Allah and ghadab for the nafs.
Right.
Ghadab for the nafs, that's what he's talking about.
Sahaba never had ghadab for nafs. Once Ali radiallahu anh was in the battlefield, and he was about to sever the neck of a kafir, and all of a sudden that kafir spit in the face of Ali radiallahu anh, because he could not do anything else. So that's the last thing he could do to take out his anger on Ali radiallahu anh. He spit in his face, and as soon as he did that, Ali radiallahu anh let him go. He got shocked. He was like, you should have killed me even worse now because I spit in your face. That's the worst thing you can do.
Right.
So Ali radiallahu anh said, before I was doing it for the sake of Allah, but when you spit in my face, I developed anger in myself for you. And at that time, if I had killed you, I would not have killed you for the sake of Allah, but for myself. And that's why I let you go.
It's a personal now.
179. ليس منا من خبب امرأة على زوجها أو عبدا على سيده. He is not one of us who incites a woman against her husband, or a slave against his master. Sometimes, women do that. They go to, other women and they say bad things about her husband just to make her an enemy of her husband, just to incite her against her husband. And the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever does that is not one of us. And
Your
also,
mother-in-laws, right?
huh? It happened, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah, anybody. أو عبد على سيدي. Or if someone incites, a slave against his master, which is not right now.
Can this be an employer against an employer?
In its
employee
sense,
against
yes.
an employer?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. 180. ليس منا من لم يرحم صغيرنا ولم يؤقر كبيرنا ويأمر بالمعروف وينهى عن المنكر. He is not one of us who shows no mercy to our youngsters and shows no respect to our elders, and he does not do amar bil ma'ruf, and he does not do nahi anil munkar. He's not one of us. So showing mercy to the youngsters and showing respect to the elders is part of our deen.
Can we just go back to the previous hadith?
Yeah.
ليس منا من-
من خبب امرأة على زوج.
Is that apply in the case of some organization, specifically Muslim organization, that is trying to stop the domestic violence in the houses? Is that apply? Because in many cases that they teach the woman, or they let her do things that is might lead for the sever of the whole house relationship, that might lead to divorce.
It depends on their intention. First of all, it depends on their intention. If their intention is to break the house, then that's wrong to begin with. Okay. If their intention is to not break the house, but they're doing things that are clearly going to lead to break up of the house, then that's also wrong. But what they're doing is they're trying to make sure that the woman is safe, and that she's not in danger of her life or the life of her children or things like that. Then that's allowed, and that would not come under this hadith. In this hadith, what is basically being said is, if you are doing anything to incite the woman against her husband, you're giving her, material ammunition and things like that, so she could fight with her husband and do things to her husband that would break the marriage, then that's wrong.
And there is no cost to it.
That's taqweeb. 181. ليس المؤمن بالذي يشبع وجاره جائع إلى جنبه. رواه البيهقي. That person is not a perfect believer who has full stomach, who has stomach full food, and his neighbor is hungry on his side.
There's another narration said, وَهُوَ يَعْلَمُ.
Could be.
No, there's another one. Because what about if my neighbor is hungry but I don't know?
Why didn't you know?
Because he's afif.
If you know he's afif, that's another reason why you should check on him.
Yeah, because it's as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, تحسبهم الجهل أغنياء من
Yeah.
التعفف.
Yeah.
But I think this hadith, and subhanAllah, when I read this hadith,
Yeah,
I said, now it makes sense, because the person has to be aware of the situation of his neighbor, yet he's still neglecting that condition of his neighbor.
In that case, it becomes even more important. But what Islam teaches us is basically to check on the neighbor as well, to look after the neighbor as well. 182. ليس الواصل بالمكافي ولكن الواصل الذي إذا قطعت رحمه وصلها. رواه البخاري.
Let's go back to the other hadith.
Yeah.
لا يدخل الجنة قاطع.
Yeah. And there was one before that too. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying, the true wasilur rahim, the true person who joins the relations of kinship, is not really the one who's mukafi. Mukafi means, it comes from mukafat, exchange. If they do good, I do good. If they call me, I call them. If they talk to me, I talk to them. I'm even. If they say salam, I say wa alaikum assalam. So Rasulullah ﷺ said that person is not really wasil, is not really one who joins the relations of kinship. وَلَكِنَّ الْوَاصِلْ الَّذِي إِذَا قُطِعَتْ رَحِمُهُ وَصِلَهَا. But a true person, in the true sense of wasilur rahim, silatul rahim, is the one when he's tested with qatul rahim, he joins it. So people are cutting relations off with you, and that's the most difficult part. Your wife will tell you, oh, they don't come to your family, they don't come to your wedding, they don't come to this, they don't come to that, they don't do that. Why should you do it? And that's where the challenge is. That's when you have to stand up and say, I'm the better person, and even if they are not being better with me, I will still be better with them. And that's when you become real wasil al-rahim. Number 183. ليس المؤمن بالطعان ولا باللعان ولا الفاحش ولا البذيء. A true mu'min, a true believer, is one who does not do ta'na, who does not accuse people, okay? ولا باللعان, and he does not curse at people, swear at people. ولا الفاحش, and he is not absurd. ولا البذيء, and he is not indecent, foul-mouthed. These are the things that you should not have if you are a true believer. Number 184.
What was the foul mouth and what was the other two?
Foul-mouthed, absurd, and the one who swears at people, and the one who accuses people. And ta'an also means the one who taunts people. Like, if I did something wrong, not criticize, taunts people. Like, if you did something wrong, I come to you and I tell you, oh, remember you did that? Remember you did that? Remember you did that? That's ta'an. Number 184. ليس الغنى عن كثرة العرض ولكن الغنى غنى النفس. The true meaning of wealth is not by the abundance of material, by the abundance of possessions. Arad means possessions, real estate, businesses, cars, and things like that. So if you have a lot of that, it doesn't mean that you're wealthy. ولكن الغنى غنى النفس. The real meaning of ghina and wealth is that when you are wealthy in your heart. ليس الكذاب, number 185. ليس الكذاب الذي يصلح بين الناس. That person is not a liar who creates peace between people. يصلح بين الناس, creates peace between people. ويقول خيرا وينمي خيرا. And he says good things and he spreads good things. So this is the namamul khayr, the one who spreads good things, not the bad things. The namam that's condemned is the one who spreads bad things about people. If you're spreading good things about people, let's say you go to Masjid al-Kareem and you say, that brother I met over there, he was I know that brother, he's a very good brother. So that's namamul khayr. You're spreading good things, even if it's not true. You see, that's the beauty of Islam. You can spread good things about a person even if it's not true, as long as you're not hurting someone. So, for example, if someone comes to you and says, that person proposed my daughter and he wants to marry my daughter, should I allow this to happen? And you start saying the good things about a person, but that's not true. That's wrong, because you're going to get his daughter in trouble.
Yeah, that's
Once you follow Allah's phone number, okay? Yeah, we need a break.
But the things that do not jeopardize the safety and other things of other people, then those things, in that regard, you should say the good things about them.
That goes under al-mustashar mu'taman.
Yes.
The brothers were complaining they want to break. We've been drilling since 1 o'clock.
Oh, I didn't realize. Let's have a break.
all right.
We don't want them to test.
You mentioned wealthy at heart. Is that in the case of like giving?
Huh?
You mentioned wealthy at heart opposed to the wealth of possession. Is that like you saying in the sense of giving, being giving person, or what is an example? Of
It
wealthy
matters.
at heart?
It's saying that the Prophet ﷺ is basically teaching us that don't always look at the wealth of the person to determine he's wealthy. Look at the heart of that person, how good he is in his heart and how generous he is in his heart.
Okay.
That should determine the wealth of that person, that whether he's wealthy.
Alright, okay.
That's one question.